Broughton. She has got the latest for us with this cold weather, some changes on the way.
The changes are coming quick for us, so much so that we have team weather for you this afternoon. Samara will join us in just a moment, but first, here's what we're talking about as far as that winter weather to our north. We have winter storm warnings in place from the Panhandle on over to the west of Jacksonville, and those are in place from tomorrow afternoon until Wednesday afternoon. Here's how it looks for you right now over downtown Orlando. We're seeing some sunshine out there on our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera. 54 degrees right now. We started generally in the 30s and 40s today and haven't warmed up a whole lot. You're still in the 40s in Ocala at 49. Palm Coast, you're at 45 degrees. Now tomorrow, our rain chances go up to anywhere from around 50 to 90%. We're looking at 90% in Orlando and 80% chance of showers tomorrow in Leesburg, all with that same system that is going to be bringing that potential of snow across North Florida. So because we are talking about a cold, blustery, wet day tomorrow, we are designating it an inconvenient weather day, and our main concern tomorrow will be that cold rain. Now Samara is standing by, and Samara, we're talking about rain in our area, but that transitions into that wintry precipitation to our north.
That's right. So when we look at one particular model, this is a European model, it does have a tendency to run a little bit colder than others, but a lot of models are starting to come to consensus and even bringing a little bit of mixed precipitation into parts of maybe northernmost Marion and Flagler counties. When we look at this particular model, you'll see the blue here, that is snow. The sleet will be in pink and the rain, of course, in the green. So when we put this model in motion, notice that rain starts to roll into central Florida tomorrow. And then as we go into tomorrow night and then Wednesday, notice that a lot of that pink really starts to get closer and closer to northernmost central Florida. So, it's one of those things that we could maybe see a little bit of activity kind of getting even closer into Alachua County, which brings it to our northernmost areas in Marion, where we could see that mixed precipitation, talking maybe a little bit of sleet here mixing in with the rain. It's not going to be something we rule out, but I don't think that it's going to be something that is going to be very widespread. But when you see this setup, you'll notice that snow still well into the Panhandle. This is going to be setting us up for possibly a historic event, which we'll break down coming up in just a few minutes. Guys?
All right, go on. So we had that front that Emily mentioned that brought the rain and even some severe thunderstorms yesterday. That is to our south. That will kind of begin to ride back to the north overnight tonight, bringing some more rain with it overnight. But here's what we can expect in your weather headlines. So a few of those showers start to move into our southern counties overnight. Then the rain becomes more widespread throughout the day tomorrow. That's why we are designating tomorrow an inconvenient weather day. And then late in the week, we dry things out and we will be warmer by Sunday. But by far the biggest weather story going on right now is to our north, where we do have winter storm warnings posted for the entire Panhandle of Florida and much of North Florida. No warnings posted in our area, but again, we could see even, a little bit of sleet, maybe as far south as Alachua County. Meteorologist Samara Cokinos is standing by, and she'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. But first, our Daytona Beach sky cam showing we are seeing partly cloudy skies right now, sitting in the 40s in Volusia County. Winds are coming in out of the north. You're also in the 40s up in Flagler County. Palm Coast, you're at 45, 55 in Kissimmee, and 54 right now in Mico. Those strong winds out of the north are bringing in that cooler air. And then overnight, because of some clouds, we're not going to see the temperatures dropping too quickly overnight. We'll see, the clouds holding in some of that very limited heat throughout the day. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast will keep temperatures generally falling through the mid to upper 40s as we head through the evening hours. Blaze and Kiera are dressed for winter, so they are all ready to go. Now, your clouds and rain forecast as we take you through the evening hours, we'll start to see the clouds increasing a little bit of rain possible across our southern counties as we head into the early morning hours. Then watch, by tomorrow afternoon, we start to see much more widespread rain. And then as we look to our north, where you see the blue through Pensacola over into Tallahassee, that is where we are looking at the potential of snow tomorrow evening and for the first part of the day on Wednesday. The pink is that transition from snow to rain. So we're looking at some sleet, making it pretty far south potentially, and then clearing all out by Wednesday afternoon. Standing by with more of those wintry weather details now. Let's head over to Samara.
That's right. And as we take a look at this system, you see that it's going to impact the deep south all the way from Texas well into Florida, going into the Carolinas. So you can see this is going to be ice impacts over the next 3 days. A lot of Texas definitely highlighted in that baby blue color, which is limited ice. close, but whenever we zoom in a little bit tighter here, we go back into northern Florida, and this is just to our north. We're not talking very far. Gainesville isn't that far away from Orlando. When you look all the way back into the Big Bend, you'll notice that we have yellows and oranges, giving us that minor and even moderate impact in terms of ice out there potentially being on the road. Now, everybody's eyes have all been on the snow, and I don't blame you. What is it? We don't get to talk about snow a lot in Florida now, do we? So a probability of seeing about an inch of snow through about Wednesday morning at 9. When you look at the panhandle, that probability is very high. We're talking about, yes, we're probably going to see an inch of snow, but then you get a little bit closer to like the Gainesville area, and that kind of changes. It goes back down to about 3%, right? Then we put that probability up to 3 inches of snow because the forecast has been calling for areas to see potentially 3 to 5 inches of snowfall in the state of Florida. When we put that probability here on the map, notice that the panhandle and back toward the Big Bend goes anywhere between 25 and about 45% chance for Mobile going into Pensacola. Get closer to Panama City, about 37% chance. Tallahassee has a 45% chance, so it's like a 50% chance of it happening, right? But when we look historically at the data shows that we have had our all-time single storm snowfall record in the state was back in 1954 in Milton, Florida. We had 4 inches of snow. Pensacola's record is 3 inches of snow set back in February 16th of 1895. That's a Pensacola personal record, right? These are for single storms. Now look at this. The forecast could be broken. We're talking then all state could potentially be broken, could be flirting with, and we're also talking about Pensacola's record of snowfall could be broken over the next day or so. So it's definitely a historic storm making its way across the deep south, Julie. I know we're going to be feeling some of the chill in the air lingering here back in central Florida too.
Absolutely, and we're talking about widespread rain throughout the day tomorrow. Now, here's your Pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen.
Some of those showers begin moving into our southern counties overnight. 44 overnight. Tomorrow is an inconvenient weather day. Rain chances are at 90%. And then overnight tomorrow into the first part of the day on Wednesday, rain chances will be around 70%. Still some lingering showers on Thursday. Wednesday morning, we wake up at 41 in Orlando. That means we're talking about 30s in northern interior spots. And then look, by the end of the weekend, we will be back near the normal range.
All right, thank you, Julie. And said we could be looking at snow in northwest Florida, but we're still going to get some weather here in central Florida. It's going to be cold.
It is going to be cold and it is going to be wet. Now, here's what you can expect as we start out our week. We'll see some rain moving in even later tonight, especially for our southern counties. Then during the day tomorrow, expect cold, windy and rainy conditions both tomorrow and for the first part of the day on our Wednesday. And we do have winter storm warnings in place for North Florida. A lot of the panhandle on over almost to Jacksonville under those winter storm warnings from tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening until about 1 o'clock on Wednesday. And we are looking at that potential of even some accumulating snow across North Florida. Here's what we're seeing right now across our area. We're sitting generally in the 40s and 50s, 49 in Ocala. You're at 51 in Claremont, 54 right now in Cocoa Beach, and you are sitting at 48 degrees if you are in New Smyrna Beach. Now, the chance of rain does stay high tomorrow. The winds will also pick up, so it's really going to be an uncomfortable day. Because of that, we are designating tomorrow an inconvenient weather day with rain chances generally from about 50% to 80 to 90%. So all of us are going to be dealing with some rain. Some of the models even indicating a little bit of sleet could get as far south as northern Marion County. But again, most of us will be dealing with rain. And Samara, this is an unusual setup for it to get this far south.
It really is. And it's already starting in deep South Texas tonight. So when we look at this area of low pressure, basically what's happening, we have a lot of moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere that is going to run over a lot of this cold air, and that's what's going to give them the potential to see some light snow as well as maybe even some heavier snow as it kind of exits Texas and goes toward the northern Gulf Coast. So what we're looking at over the next couple of days is this area of low pressure kind of staying on the lower side. It's not going to go up, it's going basically kind of across the Gulf, and so that's the reason why we're seeing a lot of the snowfall potential across the deep south. We're also seeing icing potential extending all the way back from Texas, going to the Louisiana area, as well as going into Alabama, and then the Florida Panhandle. As we get a little bit closer into that Panhandle, you'll notice that it does have a lot of that yellow and orange here from the Panhandle back to the Big Bend. Minor to moderate icing potential definitely in the mix as we head into midweek, with this system expected to exit near the Carolinas by, I would say, Wednesday night going into early Thursday. So definitely a big storm on the way. Could be historic in terms of snowfall, even in parts of Florida. I'll be back to talk more about that along with meteorologist Julie Broughton in a few minutes. Guys, back to you.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you so much.
It is now 4:43. I'm meteorologist Julie Broughton. We have seen a nice day across Central Florida as far as the sky cover goes, but things are going to begin changing for us tomorrow as some cold rain moves into the area, and our friends to the north are going to be dealing with some wintry precipitation. They do have winter storm warnings in place from the Panhandle all the way over to just west of Jacksonville. Those go into effect tomorrow afternoon until Wednesday afternoon. Meteorologist Samara Cokinos will be here with much more on the breakdown of how much snow they could see in just a few minutes. First, here's how we're doing this afternoon on our MLK Day holiday. 51 degrees right now in Leesburg and in Claremont. If you're in Ocala, you are checking in at 49 degrees, 44 right now in Palm Coast, in the 40s as well as we slide down the coast in Volusia County, 48 in New Smyrna Beach, and you are at 54 in Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, and in Mico. We're talking about very breezy conditions, and these winds will really pick up, especially tomorrow night into early Wednesday, when we could be talking about gusts at times up to around 40 miles per hour from the north. Right now, we're seeing winds gusting to around 23 miles per hour in New Smyrna Beach and close to 30 in both Melbourne and in Mico. Your hour-by-hour forecast, we will keep it cool this evening with some clouds thickening. This is Luna. She is 4 years old and she's a rescue. She's having a great day. 48 degrees at 7 o'clock, 45 degrees by 8 o'clock. Now, here's a look at the clouds and rain forecast. This is our front that went through yesterday, brought us some severe weather for the first part of the day, and we'll continue to see some moisture lifting to the north as we head through the overnight hours, even some light showers overnight in our southern counties. Then watch as we roll through the afternoon hours tomorrow and into tomorrow evening. Rain becomes much more widespread for us, and all this blue and pink you see to our north, we don't see that much in Florida, but we are talking about the potential of snow from Pensacola over toward Tallahassee, and where you see the pink, that's that transition from snow to rain. So we could be talking about some sleet in areas like Jacksonville, and some of the models do want to carry the sleet as far south as into Alachua County and even into northern Marion County. But all of this gets out of here by Wednesday afternoon. So we will dry things out, but we are looking at an inconvenient weather day tomorrow because of the high chance of rain as well as the cool temperatures and the blustery conditions. And Samara, this is all part of that bigger system that's going to be bringing the potential of snow to parts of Florida.
That's right, Julie. And when we look at this setup, this is a very southerly setup, which is not typical, and it's not something that we get to see a lot. In fact, we'll be looking at the potential to see some records broken, and some of those records have been holding since the late 1800s. Looking at this area of low pressure, though, a lot of upper level moisture running ahead of this. So over that cold air in the upper levels, we have a lot of moisture. So that's going to aid in the development to see some sleet and also see some snow. Now, what's going to happen is this system is going to trek toward the east and head toward across the Gulf, of course, heading into getting closer to Florida. So whenever we look at the European model, you'll see the bulk of that moisture as we get to tomorrow night really kind of pushing into Florida already in the form of rain. Wow, that zoomed in quickly, didn't it? Across our northern half, the north and west and back into the Panhandle, that's where we could see the sleet and the snow potential. Meanwhile, we're still dealing with rain, and then as we continue to see this model going into Wednesday afternoon, you'll notice that some of that sleet, like Julie mentioned, gets pretty far south into Alachua, Clay, and even Putnam County, where we could see some of that drift into northernmost portions of maybe Flagler and Marion County if it is cold enough. Now, when we look at the probability of at least seeing an inch of snowfall, you'll notice that along the Panhandle, going back into the Panhandle, Panama City, all the way back toward Mobile, upper 90 to 100 percentile was what we're looking at, all the way even into the state capital. But back here at home, we're talking about maybe hardly anything at all accumulating, and that's still well to our north. Nothing here in Central Florida. The all-time single storm record snowfall record is 4 inches in the state of Florida. That was in Milton, Florida in 1954. Pensacola's snowfall record is 3 inches. That was set February 16th of 1895, folks. Now, because of this particular southerly track of this storm, we could be seeing a forecast of 3 to 5 inches of snowfall in the Panhandle. If that happens and we get beyond the 4 inches, we could see that all-time record broken. We could also see Pensacola get more than 3 inches of snowfall, so we could tie or even exceed that record, Julie.
Wild stuff, Samara, talking about accumulating snow in Florida. Now, here's your Pinpoint accurate forecast for Central Florida.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen.
Our overnight low tonight goes to 44 degrees. Expect clouds to return with some showers. Then again, a reminder, tomorrow we have designated an inconvenient weather day. Rain chances are at 90%. We stay in the 40s and 50s tomorrow. Then Wednesday morning, 41 in Orlando, 53 for our high. We start to clear things out Wednesday afternoon into Thursday. And then by Friday, we'll be dry, 62 on Saturday. Sunday and Monday, we top out in the low 70s.
I'm looking forward to Monday, Julie. Thank you. If frost